like, you know, when he wrote the book on Jason Donovan's biography, I supplied all the information for that book. Piers sent his chauffeur-driven car to my house to pick up all my old back copies of Smash Hits and Number One magazine and The Face and what have you, and that supplied all the copy for the Jason Donovan book.
Yeah. Do you know, you're taking me back. I used to buy The Face and I used to buy Smash Hits.
That's it, yeah, Number One.
I don't remember Number One, but I do remember Face.
But Number One was a fortnightly. Smash Hits was a fortnightly, wasn't it,
That's
as well?
Right. Because Neil Tennant from the Pet Shop Boys used to be the editor at...
That's it, yes.
I'm a big fan of the Pet Shop Boys. So
and Paulie Yates used to work there in the same time as Neil Tennant.
Really, it's amazing, isn't it? And then, obviously, you mentioned Gary Bushell, you worked with Gary, and you worked with a lady who's been in the news, last couple of years, Rebecca Wade.
Oh, Rebecca Wade, a lovely lady. Wouldn't hear a word said against her. She was a fantastic lady. She always looked after me. She was like, you know, when you have one great love in your life, she was my platonic love. I absolutely thought the world of her. I used to think of her as like a best friend, sister, everything. She was to me, she was such a nice person. Genuine, kind, decent, everything. I really did like her. And she came to one of my children's birthday parties as well.
Well, because she was at one time involved with Russ Kemp.
Yes. That is a funny thing. I was at a party once, and Rebecca was there with Ross Kemp. Yeah. And you know when you shake the old champagne bottle, cork flew off, hit Ross right in the middle of the forehead. And the looks could kill. He gave me the looks, but she smoothed things over. It all ended without any tragedy.
That's good. He used to live near me, actually. Both of them used to live near me.
Oh, right.
And I used to have a red sports car, did Ross. And I remember seeing him. I was driving along one day, past their house, or I didn't know it was their house at the time, and I just sort of drove past, and then he comes out of his driveway with this red sports car, and I thought, hello, who's that? And then I realised who it was, you know.
Right.
Because, of course, he was at his prime then, in EastEnders, as Grant, wasn't he? You know,
yes, of course, yeah. Rebecca was a lovely lady, though, Terry.
Oh,
I was so pleased when she got found not guilty at the Old Bailey.
Yeah.
I never questioned her integrity in one moment. She was a lovely lady.
And I think it was Gary Bushell got you involved in a thing called Ferry Aid.
Oh, yes, I got a gold disc for that, yes.
Yeah, it's amazing. You say you got a gold disc for basically doing nothing.
Well, I did supply some of the stories on the people who were in it. I didn't actually sing on it, though. I think there was 8 of us from Bazaar who got a gold disc. That I used to take, you know, like people take their dog for a walk. For a few weeks, I used to take the gold disc out with me to the pub and say to all the girls, look, I've got this, I was on top of the pops, you know. So we didn't see. I was right in the back. I was in the chorus. But I never sung. No, that's the ironic thing, though. I always wanted to be a singer, never got anywhere, and then the only record I was involved with, which I didn't sing on, I got a gold disc for. It says it all, really, doesn't it?
So how did because the Ferry Aid was about the Zabuka Ferry?
That's it, yes.
And you and Gary Gary liaised getting all the acts to do the record.
That's it, Let It Be, yes. Paul McCartney song. Kindly let them record that. Pete Waterman produced it, and it did get to number 1, didn't it?
It did, indeed. I remember it.
500,000 copies, I think it sold.
Yeah, I mean, to sell 500,000 copies of any record nowadays, you're doing well.
Oh God, are you? Yes.
Because I mean, records are selling no numbers at all at the moment now, which is, you know, to get a gold disc, or platinum disc now is almost unheard of. I mean, I think it's only Adele that's likely to be getting anything like that.
Yes.
I mean, we touched on it at the very, very beginning, the sad parting this year of David Bowie. I mean, he was a great influence on your life. But you actually wrote a book about him. Oh,
yes. David, you know how some person have a lot of religious experience. David, I mean, I'm an atheist by nature, but David Bowie was like my closest thing to like a god, an icon, legend, hero, everything. And so much so that I used to copy him, everything. You know, I said to you, my illness was sort of self-inflicted in part because of my burning the candle at both ends and what have you. But because David Bowie was always so skinny and whatever, that's when I first used to start taking amphetamines. It wasn't just to be a party person. It was someone told me it's what jockeys used to take in order to page 3 girls to stay skinny. So I used to take that all the time to be skinny like David Bowie. I used to copy his clothes, the red spiky hair. Then when he changed his haircut, I'd change mine. And I followed him all through his musical different paths that he's took. Young American, the low years, the Berlin, everything. You know what I mean? He was my absolute hero musically, David Bowie, everything.
I remember there was a movie he was involved in, set in, I think it was in Germany. It was about basically...
Just a Gigolo.
No, it wasn't that one. It was the one about the drugs and coming off drugs.
Oh, Christina
X. Yeah, I remember seeing that. And that was one of them. That was about, I think, 1980, early 80s.
That's when he was living over there with Iggy Pop, wasn't it?
That's right, and it was one of the most harrowing films I think I've ever seen in my life. But the soundtrack was all David Bowie.
Yes. Was Hour, Sense of Doubt. A lot of instrumental stuff, wasn't it? Yes.
Very Brian Eno-y as well.
Yes. I think he helped on the first. It was a trilogy, wasn't it, Tel?
That's right.
I think Brian Eno worked on the first of them 3 albums. Yes.
And it was. I remember seeing it, and it really. It's enough to put anybody off drugs for life, I think.
Oh yes. I mean, I've never smoked in my life, and I've never taken what people would call drugs. I used to take sort of what I used to call fast drugs, was amphetamine or coke. Because they lifted you, and I used to find I could work better under the influence of them. But since coming out of hospital and I've written 5 new songs completely just on cups of tea, I've now learnt that was all wrong.
I think it's actually a mental thing rather than, shall we say, it's like I always talk about sport and things. 99% about 80% of sport is played in the mind.
Oh, yes. And
I think it's the same with life, I think. There's too many people say, I can't do that, the negative and the negative side of things. That's the one thing that comes out in this book. And the songs, actually. I mean, the one that got away, you wrote, we heard a little while ago.
Right.
You wrote about your wife, and it still comes over as, basically, you're still in love with her.
With me?
Yeah.
No, I'm an honest person, but I wouldn't say that.
All right,
lying to you.
All right, shall we say you have affection for her, perhaps is the right word?
For what we had, I wouldn't change anything, no. No.
The one that got away.
If I had to met her now, how she used to be, then you're nail on the head. Probably you're correct, yes. I mean, we all change.
Yeah, things move on.
1989 to 2005, yes. If I could get that back, then yes, I would be. But not today, no.
Okay.
So the funny thing is, you know, they say about Dorian Gray with the mirror in
the picture, in the loft.
She must have one. She gets better looking every year.
Well, I must admit, before, because I knew I was going to be talking to you today, I did Google images, and I saw some pictures of her. And you mentioned she looks like a young Susan George, I think is in the book, among others. And
Patsy Kensit as well, yes.
She looks like Patsy Kensit, which
yes.
In fact, she looks younger than Patsy Kensit. I know she must be of a decent age because of obviously you mentioned the timescale just now.
Right, yes.
And it's amazing. It's like mature cheese, isn't it?
Oh yes, I wouldn't. I'd be lying if I just sort of sat here and slagged her off for the sake of it. You know what I mean? But you partly hit the nail on the head, Terry. Yes.
I mean, you've got your boys. You've got Sam and Adam. Still, you haven't got Lucy. Would you like to heal the rift between you and Lucy?
One of my greatest things on my wish list. Yes.
Yeah. So hopefully Lucy reads a book, or maybe she may even listen today. I hope, you never know. Is she still with her mother? Is she? Or is she?
Yes. Yeah. My great. I'm a very up person. The glass is always half full rather than half empty. But that is the only thing that gets me down. Yes.
Well, let's not. Perhaps we best not dwell on it.
Oh no, it's fine. But I'm just saying that is. Normally, I'm an up person. But that is the one thing that is on my wish list to achieve.
Well, let's hope that comes true.
Thank you.
And let's think. What's the future hold for Garry?
Well, I've been asked to do a follow-up already to this book.
Really? And
that is something I'll do. And I've already written 30 new lyrics for a follow-up album.
Yeah, because I like the album. We're going to play another track in a little while, but I love the album. So, new album, another book.
Yes, I was asked. I need it early in the week. Yes.
That'd be
so
great.
Why stop at one? We must go for another. And the funny thing is, you know the novel I told you, To Death Us Do Part, that I wrote under my old name, or under my alias rather. But that was written in like 8 weeks. And it was really sort of gobbled together and really done fast. I'm going to revisit that. And write it again, but take more care over it.
Okay.
You know, because I know more now how a novel should be written, like more dialogue and bring out the characters more. So I'm going to write another second version of Punk Rock Stories and Tabloid Tales, and also rewrite my debut novel as well.
Well, that's great. So there is more stories in, because I thought, is there any more stories? Because you've had quite a life, and I'm thinking, there must be more. I've held so many back. I wanted to see how the first one went first. I didn't want to
in case it was, I didn't want to give all the say it wasn't a good seller. I didn't want to waste all the good stories and they would just disappear. So I've held back even better ones, Terry.
Oh, good. Well,
I did look yesterday though. You know, you go on the Amazon.co.uk in the list.
Yeah.
It was 197 in the list, which isn't bad for a new book.
What's that? The Punk Stories and Tabloid Tales?
Yeah, it's 197.
Well, that is great. I mean, I enjoyed it, and I'd say anybody who likes sort of stories of show business without and stories of show business like, because I think people have got this, or because they see it on TV, people have got this big conception that famous people live the life of Riley. They have a butler, they have a chauffeur,
Right.
and it's anything but the truth, is it?
Yes. Yes, I would say it's a story, I think, of that you can come from nothing and achieve something.
Yeah.
You put your mind to it, and don't live your life for how other people expect you're going to turn out.
Yeah, I mean, it just proves that, you no education, no writing skills, sort of a bad boy. You went to Borstal, and even in Hertfordshire, you were in Borstal in Hertfordshire at one time.
Yes, Hart, just outside the town of. Sorry about that. You know, there's a town there called Hertford, isn't there? It's got a little, like, sort of a castle in the middle.
I know it well. I was at school there.
Really?
Yes.
There's a little Lido. Is there an open air swimming pool?
Yes, I know. Yeah.
That was it. Well, we was just sort of, I think, about 3 miles from there.
From Hartum, it was Hartum swimming pool, wasn't it?
That's a nice little, because we did end up going out there one day. When you was close to leaving, you sort of came out for the last 2 or 3 weeks, and I visited the town.
Yeah.
I still remember that sort of castle.
It's
in the middle of like a little park with a high wall around it.
It still is, and
Still the same, is it?
It is still. I'll tell you what, it's a fabulous market town. Anybody who's never visited. They've also got a lovely little theatre there called the Hertford Theatre. It used to be the Castle Cinema or the Castle Theatre, just in front of it. And Hertford is... I mean, I was at school in Hertford when I was a young lad between 11 and 16. And it, to be honest, it hasn't changed. It's a nice little market town. I don't think the Borstal's still there. I don't remember. I don't think it is.
Right.
Yes, and you've, from, shall we say, humble beginnings, from bad boy beginnings, whatever you like to call it, you've just proved that you can do good, you can do well for yourself, and also do good for others as well.
Yes, because I wasn't although I was a bad boy, it wasn't in my DNA, if you get my drift. It wasn't sort of what I wanted to be.
No,
I'm glad I found something good. I've always found in life that as nice as people are to you, the nicer you are to them, the nicer they are to you.
I think that comes over, and I think that's great. One final thing.
Right.
Garry Johnson, what would you like to be remembered for?
As a trier.
Well, yeah,
a trier and a funny bloke.
Is that a trier or a trancer?
Sorry?
Is that a trier or a chancer?
A bit of both, I think. You have to be a bit of both. If one don't work, try something else.
Yeah.
Gary Bushell once called me the Arthur Daly of journalism, and I thought I'll settle for that. Arthur Daly's one of my heroes.
I think that's a show that is timeless, isn't it? With
my favourite programme of all time, Minder.
It's a fabulous show, isn't it, Minder? It really is.
Minder, Only Fools and Horses, and The Ever Decreasing Circles.
Really?
Richard Bryars, I love that.
Yeah, the Fools and Horses is eternal, and it's huge all over the world. I had an American wrestler on the show a few months ago, and he that's his favourite British TV show. It's
just classic, wasn't it?
It was absolutely classic. Anyhow, absolute great pleasure speaking to you today. Let's play one more of your songs from your album. This one's called Newton Brown. Tell us a little bit about who Newton Brown is, or what Newton Brown is.
Newton Brown is like a fictional character. It's all about the BBC Jimmy Savile, the pervert child rings all over the country, and it's just children are not safe because there's dodgy people on every corner. It's just that basically. It's about people who get away with child abuse and they shouldn't.
No, it's very bad. So, big thank you for your time today, Garry. It's been an absolute pleasure. This is Garry from his album Punk Stories and Tabloids, Punk Stories and Tabloid Tales. This is Newton Brown.
The House of Lords is where